Have you ever paused to picture a place that isn't just, on the map, but feels like the very heart of history itself?
Hmm.
A land where ancient empires rose and fell, where echoes of countless civilizations, they still resonate, and where, even today, kites dance in the sky, part of a centuries-old tradition.
Right.
Imagine a country that has witnessed it all. A place just brimming with stories, both ancient and unfolding, just waiting for us to uncover them. Welcome, everyone, to The Deep Dive, our special journey into countries around the world. Here, we don't just skim the surface, we try to immerse ourselves,
Exactly.
extracting the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight, aiming to leave you not just informed, but genuinely fascinated. Today, our compass points towards a truly extraordinary destination. Prepare for a few surprising facts just to set the stage a little. Did you know that Afghanistan is home to some of the world's earliest known oil paintings?
That's incredible, isn't it? Cave murals.
Oh, yeah. These amazing artistic discoveries found in ancient cave murals, it pushes back the timeline of oil painting like centuries.
It really does. It tells you something about a deep, enduring history of artistic innovation in this land.
Absolutely. And here's another statistic that might, well, challenge your preconceptions. Foreign tourist numbers in Afghanistan. They've actually been on a significant upward trend recently.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah, from just under 700 international visitors back in 2021, that figure surged to over 7,000 in 2023.
Wow, that's quite a jump.
It's a remarkable testament to the country's enduring allure, even amidst all the headlines. And when we talk about allure, let's talk about something delicious. Have you ever heard of Kabuli pilau?
The national dish.
Exactly. It's the country's national dish, a truly flavorful and aromatic rice dish, often made with tender cuts of sheep or goat meat.
Right, and beautifully enriched with sweet, caramelized carrots and plump raisins. It's just amazing.
It sounds incredible. A staple of hospitality, a symbol of Afghan cuisine, or perhaps you're familiar with its iconic national animal?
The snow leopard.
Yes, the majestic and elusive snow leopard. A creature that gracefully roams its high, rugged mountain ranges, a real symbol of the wild beauty found there.
Indeed. Today, we are taking a truly immersive deep dive into Afghanistan, a nation often affectionately referred to as the heart of Asia.
That's such a great name for it.
It really is. We're going to navigate its stunning, often formidable geography, delve into the daily lives of its incredibly resilient people, peel back the layers of their vibrant and ancient culture, tempt your palate with its delicious and unique food, and even explore its complex and unique position in the world today.
Yeah.
It's a place that, as we'll unpack together, is so much more intricate, profound, and, well, hopeful than what you might typically hear or imagine.
Definitely more than the headlines.
Absolutely. It's a land of profound depth and an enduring spirit that has shaped not just its own destiny, but, as we'll see, the very fabric of Asia.
Okay, let's truly unpack this fascinating deep dive into Afghanistan. So, to begin our journey, let's first anchor ourselves geographically. Where exactly is Afghanistan on the global map?
Well, it's strategically located right in southern Central Asia. Smack dab in the middle, really, making it a genuine geographical crossroads of Asia.
Crossroads of Asia. That's not just a simple description, is it? It feels like it reflects its whole history.
Precisely. For centuries, it served as this vital bridge between East and West, North and South. A place where trade routes converged, ideas were exchanged, empires met.
Wow.
This central position is exactly what earned it that beautiful and evocative nickname, the Heart of Asia.
And there was that poet, right? Allama Iqbal.
Yes, the renowned Urdu poet. He articulated it so eloquently. He famously wrote, "Asia is a body of water and earth, of which the Afghan nation is the heart. From its discord, the discord of Asia, and from its accord, the accord of Asia."
That quote really captures it, how things happening in Afghanistan could send ripples, across the whole continent.
Absolutely. It underscores its pivotal role throughout history. What's truly fascinating here, and kind of key to understanding Afghanistan, is that it's entirely landlocked.
Right. No coastline.
None at all. Which means its land borders with neighboring countries are absolutely crucial. For trade, for travel, for cultural exchange, everything.
So who does it border? Pakistan is the big one, right?
That's its longest border, yes, to the east and south.
Yeah.
Famously known as the Durand Line, which itself has a complicated history. But it also borders Tajikistan to the northeast, Iran to the west, Turkmenistan to the northwest, Uzbekistan to the north,
Quite a few.
and even a tiny, really remote sliver with China in the far northeast. that Wakhan corridor area.
Wow, so it's truly connecting all these different regions.
It's a true nexus. And when you think about its size, Afghanistan covers over 652,000 square kilometers.
How big is that, roughly? Like, compared to somewhere we might know?
It's roughly the size of Texas in the U.S.,
Yeah.
or maybe slightly bigger than France and Europe.
Okay, that gives a good sense of scale.
Yeah, it places it as the world's 41st largest country. So it's a pretty substantial piece of land, which definitely contributes to its incredibly varied landscapes. And, as we'll get into, its wonderfully diverse populations.
And speaking of its people and central points, the capital city is Kabul, which I imagine is a real hub.
It absolutely is a bustling, ever-evolving urban center. It really serves as a focal point for the country's diverse communities. People come from all over.
So Kabul's like a microcosm of the country's diversity. How does it compare to the more rural areas?
That's a crucial distinction. Kabul pulses with urban energy, but the country's total population, estimated around, say, 35.7 million by their own stats, or maybe over 42 million according to the UN.
That's a lot of people.
It is. And what's important is that about 70%, maybe even a bit more, still live in rural areas.
70%.
Yeah. So while Kabul is this dynamic hub, the daily rhythm for most Afghans is deeply connected to the land, to agriculture, to traditional village life. It creates this interesting duality within the nation.
And the official languages, you mentioned Dari and Pashto.
Correct. Dari, which is also known as Afghan Persian, and Pashto. Those are the two official ones.
But I guess with all that diversity in history, there must be others spoken to.
Oh, absolutely. Beyond Dari and Pashto, you'll hear languages like Uzbek, Turkmen, Balochi, Nuristani languages, Pashai, various regional dialects too.
Wow, a real linguistic mosaic.
It truly is. A direct result of centuries of migration, trade, and these distinct communities forming in different terrains. It means traveling the country is like experiencing a whole spectrum of speech. Language is really tied to regional identity there.
And the flag, you mentioned it visually captures a lot of this history and spirit.
It really does. It's that striking tricolor, black, red, and green.
Mm-hmm.
Each color has deep symbolism.
What do they represent?
Well, the black band symbolizes the nation's challenging past, acknowledging the struggles. The red powerfully represents the bloodshed for independence, the sacrifices made.
Yeah.
And the green signifies hope, a bright future, and also prominently represents Islam as the state religion, which is central to life for most Afghans.
And there's an emblem in the middle too, right?
Yes, central to the flag, it features a mosque, clearly representing faith, and it's flanked by two miniature Afghan flags, which is a really unusual detail.
Miniature flags on the flag. That is rare.
You'd be hard-pressed to find that elsewhere. It also has sheaves of wheat, symbolizing agriculture and abundance, and at the very top, the Shahada, the Muslim creed, affirming the nation's faith.
And that miniature flag thing, it's more than just a design quirk, isn't it? Like symbolism within symbols.
Exactly. A very self-referential national identity. It's a fascinating touch. The emblem also features the Arabic year 1298.
1298, what does that translate to?
In the Gregorian calendar, that marks 1919. That's the specific year of Afghanistan's full independence from foreign political control.
So it's literally woven into their national symbol, a constant reminder of their journey to sovereignty.
Precisely.
Okay, with those foundational facts in place, let's shift from statistics to the human element. What's daily life truly like for people in Afghanistan? You mentioned it's deeply rooted in tribal society.
It is. And this social structure often means that distinctive subcultures are profoundly shaped by geographical barriers. Think about communities isolated for centuries by huge mountains or vast deserts.
So that isolation really shapes identity, leads to unique customs and maybe even dialects.
Absolutely. It naturally led to the evolution of distinct dialects, unique artistic traditions, maybe even slightly different interpretations of broader cultural norms, like the Pashtun code of conduct, depending on the region.
Interesting.
This geographical influence is key to understanding the country's incredibly rich, yet sometimes complex, social tapestry. It fosters a profound sense of local identity alongside national pride.
And the family unit, you said that's the bedrock.
The absolute mainstay of everything. Families are typically headed by a patriarch, the eldest male, usually, and it's very common for married sons to continue living in the same house, or at least the same compound, as their parents.
Multi-generational living.
Exactly. Often in separate quarters within the compound, but still together. It shows a strong emphasis on these deep bonds, interdependence. It provides a social safety net and helps pass down traditions and values continuously.
And values and traditions, Islam is obviously central, woven into daily life. What about other cultural ties? You mentioned Central Asia and the Iranian plateau.
Yes, very strong ties there, reflecting centuries of shared history, trade, migrations. You see it in language, in classical music, in architecture, in food. The connections are profound.
And specific groups, like the Pashtuns. They're known for certain values.
Indeed. The Pashtuns are a major ethnic group, and they're renowned for incredibly strong tribal solidarity and a deep, unyielding regard for personal honor. This is beautifully encapsulated in the Pashtunwali.
Pashtunwali, what is that exactly?
It means the Pashtun way. It's an ancient, mostly unwritten ethical code, a guide for daily life. It emphasizes core tenets like momastia, generous hospitality, welcoming strangers, protecting them.
Even enemies.
Even enemies, traditionally. Also, Nanawatai, offering sanctuary refuge to anyone seeking it, regardless of background, and upholding Gayrat personal and family honor above all else.
Wow. That code must really influence social interactions.
Profoundly. It shapes dispute resolution, community dynamics, and its influence often extends beyond just the Pashtun ethnic group, impacting other communities as well.
And in the rural areas where most people live, you mentioned mud brick houses.
Yes, traditionally. Or compounds built around a private rectangular courtyard. This design is ingenious. It allows women and children to move freely, do chores, socialize, without being seen from the public street. It provides privacy and security.
And villages have a structure, like a headman.
Usually, yes. A headman, often called a malik or arbab, who oversees community affairs, helps resolve disputes. There's often a water distribution master, the mirab, incredibly important in an arid land. And a religious teacher, the mullah, for spiritual guidance and education.
And the work, mostly farming.
Men primarily work in the fields, cultivating wheat, barley, fruits, vegetables. Women often join them, especially during the busy harvest season. It's very much a collaborative family effort for survival and livelihood. And adding another layer to this diversity, about 4.3% of the population are nomadic. They're known as 𝗏𝗁𝗏𝗂𝗁𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 across the country, following the seasons, seeking grazing pastures in the mountains during summer, and returning to lower plains in winter. An ancient lifestyle.
That must create an interesting dynamic with the settled villagers.
It does, a fascinating symbiotic exchange. The 𝗘𝗀𝗴𝗵 buy supplies tea, wheat, kerosene from villagers, and the villagers buy wool, milk, dairy products like quart, the kind of dried yogurt, from the nomads.
An old system of trade connecting different ways of life.
Precisely. It highlights the interconnectedness and adaptation needed in that challenging terrain.
Speaking of daily life and sustenance, let's talk food. Afghan cuisine, you said it's a blend of influences. Central Asian, South Asian.
Yes, Central Asian, Eastern Asian, South Asian, Middle Eastern, a real fusion. But what often sets it apart is that it's generally less spicy than, say, some neighboring South Asian cuisines.
So the natural flavors come through more.
Exactly. It allows the fresh flavors of the ingredients to really shine. The foundation is built on staples like wheat, maize, barley, and especially rice. Lots of rice dishes.
And you mentioned fruits and vegetables are key.
Absolutely central. Abundant native fruits and vegetables are part of almost every meal, adding freshness and vibrancy. And dairy products, too. Milk, yogurt, and dew, that refreshing whey drink. They're key components.
And the national dish again? 𝗘𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗂𝗵. Tell us more about that. It sounds amazing.
Oh, it is. It's far more than just a meal. It's a celebration on a plate. That traditional rice dish, famous for its rich, complex flavors, usually made with tender, slow-cooked lamb or goat, and then beautifully combined with aromatic spices, those delicately caramelized carrots, sweet, plump raisins. It's often garnished with pistachios or almonds, too.
Wow. Sounds like a real centerpiece for guests.
It absolutely is. A dish brought out for special occasions, for honored guests. It really represents warmth, generosity, Afghan hospitality. And we have to talk about Afghanistan's fruits. The country is globally renowned for incredibly high-quality fruits.
Like what specifically?
We're talking incredibly sweet, juicy pomegranates, some say the best in the world, plump, flavorful grapes of many varieties, and exceptionally large, sweet, jumbo-sized melons, just bursting with natural sweetness.
They sound incredible. Are they a big part of the diet?
A significant and integral part, eaten fresh in season, dried for the winter months, and they're also a really important agricultural export for the country.
And for drinks, what's the go-to?
Tea, without a doubt. Green tea or black tea, often spiced with cardamom. You'll find it served everywhere, all day long. It's a sign of welcome, central to social gatherings.
So a typical meal might be?
Often includes fresh naan, that traditional flatbread, usually baked fresh in a tandoor oven. Alongside that, maybe some yogurt, a generous portion of rice, perhaps plain, perhaps a pilau, and a hearty meat dish, like a kebab or a stew.
Sounds balanced and satisfying.
Very much so. And beyond Kabuli pilau, the range is impressive. Hearty soups like shorba, a meat and vegetable stew. Delicious steamed dumplings like mantou.
Oh, mantou. I think I've heard of those. Filled with meat.
Usually ground meat, yes, and topped with yogurt and a tangy tomato-based sauce. Also ashak, which are similar dumplings but filled with leeks or chives.
Yum, and kebabs.
Lots of variety. Sapin kebabs, succulent lamb chops grilled over charcoal. Afghani kebab, often made with ground beef or lamb, spiced and skewered. Chicken kebabs, too.
And other rice dishes.
Definitely. 𝗘𝗲𝗴𝗵𝗵 is lovely. That's dill rice, often served with lamb. And for something sweet, 𝗔𝗲𝗴𝗵𝗀𝗃, a saffron rice pudding, often made for celebrations.
What about vegetable dishes?
Plenty of those, too. Balanjan is popular eggplant cooked with tomatoes and spices. And bendi okra, usually stewed with tomatoes. Many dishes showcase the fresh produce.
And you mentioned shared recipes with neighbors.
Yes, it's interesting. You'll find similarities, shared techniques and flavor profiles with Pakistani, Iranian, and other Central Asian cuisines. It really highlights those strong regional ties and centuries of shared food culture.
Moving beyond the daily plate now, Afghanistan has contributed some incredible minds and talents to the world, hasn't it? Shaping various fields.
Absolutely. Often surprising people who only know the country through recent news. In science and intellect, you find some truly groundbreaking figures.
Like who?
Well, there's 𝗔𝗳𝗴𝗵𝗵 al-Afghani, a really influential philosopher and political activist in the 19th century. His ideas about pan-Islamism and modernization resonated across the Islamic world.
Okay.
And then there's 𝗔𝗲𝗴𝗵𝗵𝗵. He made history as an astronaut, the first Afghan and an early Muslim to visit outer space on a Soviet mission in '88.
Wow, an astronaut. That's amazing. Did he speak Pashto up there?
He did, famously making Pashto the fourth language ever spoken in space. Imagine the national pride that brought.
Incredible. Any other scientists or thinkers?
Yes. Sima Samar is a prominent physician and human rights advocate, especially known for her work on health and women's rights. In mathematics, Sadiq Afghan is known for his complex calculations.
And historically, any famous scholars from the region?
Oh, definitely. Going way back, you have figures like Abu Mashar al-Balkhi, a famous astrologer and mathematician from the Abbasid era, and Abu Zaid al-Balkhi, a polymath geographer, mathematician, physician. It shows a long, long tradition of intellectual achievement rooted in that land.
And literature and the arts, that's clearly strong too.
Very much so. Many influential Afghans have shared their stories globally. Think of Khaled Hosseini.
Oh, of course. The Kite Runner. 1,000 Splendid Suns. His books have touched millions.
Exactly. Offering profound, often heartbreaking, but deeply insightful perspectives into Afghan life, culture, history.
What about film?
In film, Sadiq Barmak directed the acclaimed drama Osama, which won awards and brought attention to life under the Taliban. And actors like Lina Alam and Fahim Fazli have made their mark, helping build the Afghan film scene.
Anyone who did multiple things, like art and music.
𝗔𝗲𝗴𝗵𝗵𝗃 stands out from the 20th century. He was prominent as a painter, a musician, a poet, and a film director. Truly multi-talented, highlighting that diverse artistic capability.
And sports. You mentioned cricket is huge now.
It's exploded. Afghanistan has rapidly become a real force, especially in T20 cricket. Players like Rashid Khan.
The spin bowler. He's everywhere.
He really is a global superstar.
Yeah.
Named the ICC Men's T20I Player of the Decade. And former captain Asghar Afghan holds the record for most T20 international wins as a captain. They've brought huge recognition and pride.
That's fantastic. Any other sports heroes?
Absolutely cannot forget 𝗔𝗲𝗵𝗵𝗃𝗃. He won Afghanistan's first ever Olympic medal in Taekwondo.
Wow, when was that?
He won bronze medals in back-to-back Olympics,
Right.
Beijing 2008 and London 2012. His achievements were a massive source of national joy and inspiration. Showed Afghan athletes could compete and win on the world stage.
That's brilliant. Okay, so beyond famous individuals, let's delve deeper into the culture itself. The vibrant blend of traditions, arts, daily expressions, what really makes it unique.
Yeah, this is where we really get to the soul of Afghanistan. Let's talk music. Afghan classical music has incredibly deep historical links with Indian classical music.
How so?
They even share similar terminology and theoretical concepts, like the idea of raga. It points to centuries of cross-cultural exchange and influence.
What kind of instruments do they use?
A diverse range, some shared with India, like the tabla drums and the sitar, but also distinct local instruments like the 𝗤𝗓𝗃𝗊𝗋, which is a goblet-shaped drum.
And wasn't there a national instrument you mentioned?
Yes, the rubab, a beautiful lute-like string instrument. It's considered the emblem of Afghan musical heritage, and fascinatingly, it actually predates the Indian sarod, showing its ancient lineage.
So it's a uniquely Afghan contribution to music. Any famous musicians?
Artists like the late Ustad Muhammad Hussain Sarhang and Sarban are celebrated classical masters, revered for their contributions, their mastery of complex melodies and rhythms.
And traditional clothing. You mentioned shalwar kameez is common.
Yes, various forms of it, that loose tunic and trousers combo. Very practical for the climate, modest and comfortable. Particularly the parahan tunban for men and similar styles for women.
What about head coverings for women?
Women often wear a chador, a large scarf or shawl for head covering. In some more conservative communities, the full burqa is worn. Interestingly, some form of veiling existed among some Pashtun communities even before Islam arrived. So it's a complex cultural and religious garment.
Any other unique items of clothing?
Definitely. The 𝗔𝗴𝗵 is a distinctive coat, often beautifully embroidered, worn by men, especially in the north. And the 𝗘𝗴𝗃𝗁 hat, made from the fur of 𝗘𝗴𝗃𝗁𝗁 sheep lambs.
Oh, like the one former President Karzai always wore.
Exactly. That made it recognizable worldwide. And another hat, the pakol. It's a soft, round, usually woolen hat, often seen folded at the brim.
Where's that from?
Traditionally from the east and northeast, places like Nuristan and Panjshir. It gained widespread popularity, partly because the famous resistance leader, 𝗔𝗳𝗴𝗵 Massoud, was often photographed wearing one.
Interesting how clothing can become iconic like that. Now, literature, you said poetry, is huge.
Profoundly cherished. It's not just an art form. It's seen as a major educational pillar, woven into daily life, conversation, how people express complex emotions.
Wow, so people just recite poetry normally.
Very much so. They even have a unique poetic style called lande. These are short, poignant, two-line poems, often anonymous, traditionally recited or sung by women, reflecting on love, grief, war, homeland. Powerful stuff.
2 lines. That's fascinating.
And it's common, especially in cities with strong literary traditions like Herat, for Thursdays to be poetry night. Men, women, children gather to recite ancient classics and modern poems. It connects generations.
Who are the major poets? You mentioned Khushal Khan Khattak.
He's considered the national poet, a Pashto warrior poet. But Afghans also deeply revere the giants of Persian poetry, whose influence extends far beyond, like Rumi, born near Balkh, Rabia Balkhi, one of the first female Persian poets, and Rahman Baba, another revered Pashto poet.
So a really rich literary heritage in both Persian and Pashto.
Absolutely. And they also value wit and cleverness in speech. Their proverbs, called Zarbul Masala, offer wonderful insights into cultural wisdom, practical philosophy, humor.
What about visual arts and crafts? Any long traditions there?
Incredibly deep history. Pottery, especially from the village of Istalif, north of Kabul, is famous for its unique turquoise and green glazes. And the amazing thing is, the crafting methods have stayed pretty much the same for centuries, passed down generation to generation.
Like living history in a pot.
Exactly. And the region is also the historical source of that vibrant blue lapis lazuli stone, highly prized for millennia.
Lapis lazuli from Afghanistan. I didn't know that. Used in famous art.
Absolutely. Used in ancient Egyptian artifacts, Mesopotamian art, even ground up for pigment in Renaissance paintings. It highlights Afghanistan's ancient connection to global art history and trade.
And didn't you mention something amazing about oil painting earlier?
Yes. You might be truly surprised to learn that the world's earliest known use of oil painting wasn't in Europe, but was found in cave murals, right there in Afghanistan in the Banyan Caves.
Get out. How old?
Dating back to the 7th century CE. It radically reshapes our understanding of art history and where oil painting techniques originated.
That is mind-blowing. Any other significant art styles?
The Gandhara art style is hugely important. It flourished in the region between roughly the 1st and 7th century CE. It's this unique, stunning fusion of Greco-Roman realism and Buddhist themes and iconography. Really beautiful sculptures.
Wow. And what about art today?
There's an encouraging trend. Women are increasingly participating in arts programs like at Kabul University, bringing new voices, perspectives, and contemporary expressions to the Afghan art scene.
That's great to hear. Okay, shifting gears a bit. What about fun, entertainment, festivals? What do people do?
Well, one hugely popular pastime, especially for kids, but adults too, is kite making and kite fighting 𝗔𝗴𝗵𝗵𝗫.
Kite fighting? Like in the Kite Runner? Is it really like that?
It really is. It's not just casual flying. It's a competitive sport. People meticulously prepare their kites and coat their strings, the tar, with powdered glass mixed with glue. The goal is to skillfully maneuver your kite to cut your opponent's string.
Sounds intense and skillful.
Very much so. It's a thrilling spectacle, often draws big crowds, especially on Fridays or holidays. A wonderful sight, all those colorful kites in the sky.
What about festivals? Religious ones?
Yes, major Islamic holidays are celebrated with deep reverence. Eid al-Fitr, marking the end of Ramadan, is huge feasting, new clothes, visiting family. Eid al-Adha, the festival of sacrifice, and Ashura, observed with solemnity, especially by the Shia community.
Any national holidays?
Definitely. Independence Day on August 19th is a big one, commemorating that 1919 treaty securing full independence from British political influence.
And regional festivals. Do different parts of the country have their own celebrations?
They do, showcasing that diverse cultural expression. For example, the vibrant Red Flower Festival, 𝗔𝗳𝗴𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗃, happens during Nowruz, the Persian New Year, in Mazar-e-Sharif, celebrating the blooming of red tulips.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
And there's the Dambura Festival in Bamiyan Province, celebrating the dambura, a traditional two-stringed lute, with lots of local music and cultural performances. These events really bring communities together and highlight that rich, multifaceted tapestry of traditions.
Despite all the challenges we know Afghanistan has faced, it sounds like it holds incredible beauty, both natural and historical. A unique place for travelers.
Absolutely. The geography itself is incredibly varied and dramatic. It's largely mountainous, dominated by the majestic Hindu Kush range.
That's part of the Himalayas, right?
The western extension of the Himalayas, yes. Towering peaks, creating formidable but beautiful barriers. Within these mountains, you find fertile valleys, sometimes called part of the roof of the world because they're so high up.
But it's not all mountains.
No. Beyond the peaks, you also get rolling grasslands, semi-deserts, and vast, hot, windy deserts, especially in the south and west. An extraordinary range of ecosystems. The country's highest point is Mount Noshak, nearly 7,500 meters.
Wow. Serious mountain. Where do tourists usually go? You mentioned Bamiyan Valley.
Bamiyan is definitely a key region for tourism, both domestic and international. It's home to the stunning 𝗵𝗲𝗵𝗫 National Park.
What's special about 𝗵𝗲𝗵𝗫?
It has these incredible, vivid, blue lakes, almost sapphire-colored, separated by natural dams made of travertine rock, nestled within dramatic canyons. It's a true natural market.
Sounds breathtaking. And Bamiyan is also where the giant Buddhas were.
Historically, yes. The site of the famous Buddhas of Bamiyan, those monumental statues carved into the cliffs centuries ago. Though they were tragically destroyed in 2001, the niches remain, and the site holds immense historical and cultural significance. People visit to reflect on that legacy.
Can you do anything else there? I heard something about skiing.
Believe it or not, yes. For the truly adventurous, some visitors go skiing in Bamiyan during the winter. It transforms the rugged landscape into a snowy playground, a pretty unique combination of sport and history.
Definitely unique. What about other natural wonders?
The Wakhan Corridor in the far northeast is remarkable. Very remote, incredibly high altitude, cold. It's that narrow strip of land reaching towards China.
What's special about it?
It's famous for its unique wildlife, like the majestic Marco Polo sheep with their enormous curling horns. They thrive in that challenging environment. It offers incredible untouched landscapes for really intrepid explorers.
Beyond nature, what about historical sites? Architecture?
Afghanistan is packed with them, reflecting its layered past. In Herat, in the west, the Great Mosque, or Masjid-e-Jami, is magnificent, with stunning blue tile work. And the Herat citadel, 𝗘𝗏𝗃𝗃, is an imposing ancient fortress.
Wow. And in Mazar-e-Sharif?
The shrine of Hazrat Ali, often called the Blue Mosque. It's an absolutely breathtaking sight. Dazzling blue tiles covering the entire complex, shimmering in the sun. A major pilgrimage site and architectural jewel.
Are there older ruins too, like pre-Islamic?
Yes. The country is dotted with ancient remnants. You can find Greek ruins from Alexander the Great's time, Buddhist stupas and monasteries, especially from the Gandhara period. It's an archaeological treasure trove.
Even in Kabul? Any historical spots?
Even in the capital, yes. The gardens of Babur are beautiful, the final resting place of Babur, the first Mughal emperor. It's a serene, terraced garden offering a peaceful escape. And the Taj Beg Palace, built in the 1920s for Queen Soraya.
With a queen? What was its purpose?
It was intended as a place for women to socialize, discuss issues, part of King Abdullah Khan's modernization efforts. A fascinating glimpse into royal history and early attempts at social change.
You mentioned European-style architecture is rare.
Relatively rare, yes, because Afghanistan wasn't directly colonized in the modern era like some neighbors. But there are exceptions. Structures like the Victory Arch at Paghman near Kabul and the Darul Aman Palace, also from the 1920s modernization period. They show an attempt to blend traditional motifs with some European neoclassical styles.
So tourism is growing, but visitors need to be careful.
Yes, the Ministry of Information and Culture is actively promoting it, and numbers are increasing, which is encouraging. But caution is advised. Finding reliable local guides is really important for safety and navigating customs.
Why the caution?
Well, besides general travel safety, a somber reality is that some areas, particularly rural or former conflict zones, may still have unexploded ordnance or landmines left over from decades of war. It's a dangerous legacy that requires awareness from everyone, locals and visitors alike.
That's a sobering reminder of the past. Let's talk a bit about that history. It's incredibly deep and complex, right? Earning it that nickname.
The Graveyard of Empires, yes. It's a powerful moniker, reflecting the reality for numerous foreign powers over millennia: Persians, Greeks under Alexander, Arabs, Mongols, British, Soviets.
They all tried to control it.
Many did, often finding their ambitions ultimately thwarted by the challenging terrain and the fiercely independent spirit of the Afghan peoples.
How far back does history go there?
Human habitation goes way back, Middle Paleolithic era. Tens of thousands of years of continuous human presence. It's seen military campaigns, massive migrations. It wasn't just a battleground, though. It was also the birthplace of major empires.
Like which ones?
The Greco-Bactrians, who emerged after Alexander, blending Greek and Central Asian cultures in a fascinating way. And later, figures who founded dynasties like the Ghaznavids, the Ghurids, and the Mughals, who built a vast empire in India, originated from or passed through this region.
So it played a huge role in regional history.
Absolutely. And because of all these influences, conquest, trade on the Silk Road, it was a significant center for many religions before Islam became dominant.
Which religions?
Zoroastrianism was strong here in ancient times. Buddhism flourished, leaving behind incredible art and sites like Bamiyan. Hinduism also had a presence, blending with local beliefs. Then Islam arrived and profoundly shaped its identity from the 7th century onwards. It's truly a melting pot.
When did the modern state of Afghanistan begin to form?
The foundations were really laid with the Durrani Afghan Empire in the 18th century, founded by Ahmad Shah Durrani. He's often considered the father of modern Afghanistan, unifying various tribes.
Was there a power before him?
Just before, the Hotak dynasty, led by Mirwais Hotak, had famously rebelled against the Persian Safavids in 1709. They even captured the Safavid capital of Isfahan briefly in 1722, a remarkable period of Afghan assertion.
And then came the Great Game in the 19th century.
Yes, the 19th and early 20th centuries. Afghanistan found itself caught geographically and politically between the expanding British Empire in India and the Russian Empire pushing south through Central Asia.
A buffer state.
Exactly. A crucial, often contested buffer state in this intense geopolitical rivalry. This led to several Anglo-Afghan wars.
Did Afghanistan win those?
They fiercely defended their independence. While Britain exerted some influence over foreign policy for a time, they never fully conquered or colonized the country internally. Afghanistan achieved full independence from foreign political control in 1919 after the Third Anglo-Afghan War.
That's the date on the flag emblem, 1919.
Precisely. That led to the Kingdom of Afghanistan being established in 1926 under King Amanullah Khan initially, who tried those modernization reforms. This monarchy lasted almost 50 years, providing some stability, until it was overthrown in a coup in 1973.
And more recent history, it's been quite turbulent.
Extremely turbulent, yes. The Soviet invasion in 1979 was a major turning point. It lasted nearly a decade, caused immense destruction, displacement. Millions became refugees in Pakistan and Iran.
And it led to the rise of mujahideen groups.
Yes, various resistance groups backed by external powers, including the U.S. and Pakistan, fought the Soviets. After the Soviets withdrew in 1989, these groups unfortunately turned on each other, leading to a devastating civil war in the early 1990s.
Which paved the way for the Taliban.
Exactly. The Taliban emerged from the chaos of the Civil War, promising order, and took control of most of the country by 1996, imposing their strict interpretation of Islamic law.
Until 2001.
Until the U.S.-led intervention following the 9/11 attacks ousted the Taliban regime. This led to a new constitution, elections, and a period of international involvement and reconstruction efforts, but also continued insurgency and conflict for the next 2 decades.
It's an incredibly complex and often tragic recent history.
It truly is. Periods of significant change, immense internal strife, massive disruptions. But through it all, you also see that incredible resilience of the Afghan people. Communities finding ways to survive, adapt, hold on to their culture. Even landmarks adapt, like Ghazi Stadium in Kabul, once used for very different public events, now a major football venue. Life finds a way.
Moving into the present day, despite that tumultuous past and the ongoing challenges, you mentioned Afghanistan is striving for progress, developments in the economy and infrastructure.
Yes, there's a continuous effort to rebuild and move forward. Economically, it's listed as the 124th largest by nominal GDP. Now, while its per capita GDP is still among the lowest globally, there are definite signs of development.
Like the export figures you mentioned.
Exactly. Annual exports exceeding $2 billion is significant, and 94% of that being agricultural, mineral, and textile products shows where the core strengths lie. The currency, the Afghani, has also shown periods of stability, which is crucial for economic confidence.
And the natural resources, that sounds like huge potential.
It's potentially game-changing. The country is incredibly rich beneath the surface. We're talking lithium, iron, zinc, copper, coal, gold, rare earth elements. A real treasure trove.
Worth how much? Do you say $1 trillion?
Some geological surveys, particularly one by the U.S. Geological Survey around 2010, estimated untapped mineral deposits could be worth at least $1 trillion, maybe significantly more. They particularly highlighted the lithium potential.
The Saudi Arabia of lithium.
That was the phrase used by some, yes.
Ah.
Given the vast high-quality reserves identified, and lithium being so critical for batteries, electric vehicles, the green transition, it's strategically vital.
Are they starting to tap into this wealth?
There are moves in that direction. Recently, multi-billion-dollar mining contracts have been signed for resources like gold, iron, lead, and zinc. It signals that exploration and potential extraction are beginning, raising big questions about how this wealth can be managed responsibly for the country's benefit.
That potential really could change things, couldn't it? Geopolitically, too.
Absolutely. Such vast reserves, especially of strategic minerals like lithium, inevitably attract international interest. It could create new opportunities for development and partnerships, but also new complexities and potential rivalries over access and control. Ensuring the benefits reach the Afghan people is the major challenge.
And it's not just resources. Infrastructure is developing, too. You mentioned the Ring Road.
Yes, Highway 1, the Ring Road. It's a massive project, over 2,200 kilometers long, connecting the major cities, Kabul, Kandahar, Herat, 𝗣𝗲𝗵𝗵. It's the backbone of the road network, vital for internal trade and travel.
What about railways?
There's a growing national rail network, too, aiming to better connect Afghanistan with its Central Asian neighbors and potentially southwards to Pakistan's ports and westwards to Iran. This could really boost trade and make Afghanistan a key transit hub again.
And airports.
The country operates 4 international airports, Kabul, Herat, Kandahar, and 𝗣𝗲𝗵𝗃, facilitating air travel, cargo, and connections to the wider world.
Access to electricity has improved dramatically, too.
Hugely. In 2018, reports indicated 98% of the rural population had access, a massive jump from just 28% a decade earlier in 2008. That's rapid progress in electrification, vital for quality of life and economic activity.
Where does the power come from? Mostly imported.
Still mostly imported from neighbors like Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Iran, Turkmenistan. But there's a growing focus on developing domestic sources. Hydropower has huge potential given the mountains and rivers.
Any big dam projects?
Yes, major projects like the 𝗘𝗲𝗴𝗵𝗀𝗵 Dam in Helmand Province are crucial, not just for power generation, but also for managing water resources for irrigation. And there's increasing investment in solar, biomass, and even wind power plants. Energy self-sufficiency is a key goal.
And agriculture remains vital.
Absolutely fundamental, still the backbone for majorities of the population, producing wheat, milk, grapes, those famous sweet melons we talked about, and significant projects are underway to boost it further.
Like that canal project.
Yes, the 𝗘𝗲𝗵𝗃 Canal in the north. It's a massive irrigation project designed to bring water from the Amu-Darya River to cultivate vast areas of previously arid land. It aims to significantly boost agricultural output, crucial for food security and the economy.
What about manufacturing? Is there much industry?
There is, mostly small to medium scale. Production of textiles, soap, furniture, shoes, and of course the world-renowned hand-woven Afghan carpets, a major export and cultural product. There are also larger facilities like cement factories and iron smelting plants, contributing to a slowly diversifying economy.
It's so important to balance that picture of progress with the real challenges Afghanistan still faces. You mentioned focusing on the positive, but understanding the difficulties paints a complete picture.
Absolutely. It's vital. Decades of conflict have left a profound and devastating legacy. High levels of poverty, severe child malnutrition remain critical issues in many areas. Afghanistan consistently ranks among the world's least developed countries on the Human Development Index.
Which really highlights the scale of the need.
It does. It underscores the immense need for continued humanitarian support and long-term sustainable development efforts just to improve basic quality of life for millions.
And one major challenge, maybe less talked about, is climate change.
Hugely significant, and Afghanistan is tragically on the front lines. It's ranked as one of the most vulnerable countries to climate change impacts and simultaneously one of the least prepared to cope due to lack of resources and infrastructure.
What kind of impacts are they seeing?
More frequent and severe droughts are a major one, affecting over half the population, leading to desertification, destroying agriculture, causing critical food and water insecurity. This forces people to leave their homes, leading to internal displacement.
So drought is a huge problem. Anything else?
Yes, paradoxically, also an increased risk of devastating flash floods and landslides from extreme rainfall events when they do occur. These can wipe out villages, infrastructure, and farmland in minutes. It's a double-edged sword of climate impacts.
And another critical area needing attention is people with disabilities.
Yes, a particularly sensitive issue. Over 4 decades of conflict have left a very large portion of the population with various disabilities, physical injuries from explosions, landmines, bullets, but also profound mental health challenges from trauma.
And disabled women face extra difficulties.
Extremely severe discrimination, unfortunately. Profound isolation, immense barriers in accessing education, healthcare, employment. It's heartbreaking. But due to societal stigma and lack of support systems, some families feel they have to conceal severely disabled members, especially girls, from public view.
That's awful. What's needed?
Humanitarian organizations in the international community really need to prioritize specialized support, vocational training, inclusive programs. Many disabled Afghans express a powerful desire to be self-sufficient, to work, to contribute, not just rely on charity. Their resilience is incredible, but they need opportunities and acceptance.
And the return of refugees creates challenges too.
Yes, large numbers of Afghan refugees have returned, especially from Pakistan and Iran, sometimes under pressure. They often face immense hardship back home. Lack of housing, jobs, limited access to clean water, schools for their children. It puts huge pressure on already strained resources.
Sounds like an overwhelming list of challenges.
The challenges are immense, undeniable. Yet, amidst all this, the Afghan people hold on to remarkable hope and profound pride.
Pride in what, specifically?
Fiercely proud of their rich, ancient culture, their deep religious traditions, their strong sense of community and family bonds, which have been the bedrock of resilience for centuries.
And hope for the future. Based on what?
Well, those vast natural resources offer significant potential for future economic growth, a path toward self-sufficiency if managed well. The determination to rebuild is visible in those infrastructure projects, the efforts to expand trade.
And the culture endures.
Absolutely. The vibrant artistic traditions, the national love for poetry passed down through generations, the growing success in sports like cricket, these all stand as powerful testaments to the enduring spirit, the creativity, the incredible, indomitable resilience of the Afghan people. Their ability to find hope and build for the future after everything they've been through is truly remarkable.
Wow. What an incredible deep dive we've had into Afghanistan today, just listening to all that. For me, what truly stands out is that profound resilience you just mentioned. The spirit of the Afghan people, it's just unimaginable, really.
It really is something.
That, coupled with the sheer beauty of their landscapes, those mountains, formidable but breathtaking.
Yeah.
The richness of the culture, the poetry woven into life, the kite fighting, it just paints such a vivid picture.
And for me, it's that sheer historical depth. Thinking about Afghanistan as the true crossroads of Asia, birthplace and melting pot of empires influencing cultures far beyond its borders for millennia. That resonates. And also seeing that determination out to harness their resources, that Saudi Arabia of lithium potential for a better future. Plus, the surprising growth in tourism despite challenges. It shows this incredible forward momentum and enduring allure.
This deep dive really makes you think, doesn't it? Expands your perception way beyond the usual headlines.
It absolutely does. And it raises an important question, I think, for all of us. In our interconnected world, how can we truly appreciate and maybe support nations like Afghanistan, nations that face huge challenges, historical and ongoing, but hold on to such a deep sense of identity, culture, and that unwavering hope for the future?
How can we best engage, learn from that spirit?
Exactly. It's something to reflect on.
And that brings us to you, our incredible listener. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Are you from Afghanistan? Or maybe you've been fortunate enough to visit this captivating country. What stood out to you most from today's deep dive? Was it the history, the culture, the resilience, the food? Let us know in the comments below. We really want to hear from you. And please don't forget to like this deep dive if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to English Deep Talk for more fascinating explorations into our amazing world, and share it with anyone who loves learning and discovering new perspectives.
Yeah, please do.
Until next time, keep digging deep.